What is the most talked about topic in boating?
Batteries.
What is the second most talked about topic in boating?
Solar panels.
What is the third most talked about topic in boating?
Rum. So historically, the most talked about topic for cruisers has always been marine toilets. In the past years, that's really shifted, and now we're talking about batteries and solar panels more than anything else because marine toilets seem to be mostly working. But today, we're talking about...
poop.
Yeah, it's all about poop today.
It's all about poop today.
We have 2 tanks on this boat that are for black water. And we have about 2.5 miles of poop tube. The hose that goes from the 4 toilets. Yeah, 4 toilets.
In case you were wondering, that's too many toilets.
Yeah, it's like too many toilets. 2 would be great. Here's the thing that you might not know. After about 10 years, poop hose starts to become permeable to odor, depending on the hose. Some of it is a lot less than 10 years. All the hoses on this boat are about 11 years old now. And so we are changing out all the poop hose. But we gotta get the hoses out and get the caps on so that we contain the smell and get ready for the new hoses.
Okay, well, let's get to it.
Here
It's
we
not
go.
gonna fix itself.
No, it is not.
I'm GERI.
And I'm Shawn. Come along on our real-life adventures as we explore the world and boat life on our sailing catamaran Rome.
Now let's jump back into the episode and see what's going on.
All right, first up, let's get some of these hose clamps out of here. Each one of these has 6, just in case, because if hose clamp fails, it would be really, really messy if there was only 1. So having 2 definitely makes things a little better. Get these guys off of here. Then we can get after the hoses, which, oh man, I'm just not looking forward to it. It is so much potential for, just ew. And we are throwing these away and getting new ones. There is no point in reusing hose clamps. It is just not worth it. If you were buying a used boat, like one of the first things that you want to do is replace all your hose clamps with new ones to make sure that you're not going to end up with an old busted or rusted hose clamp that leaks everything in your boat. We knew somebody in Seattle who bought a boat and did not replace their hose clamps, and they were out cruising one day and they had a hose clamp on an engine fail on the raw water intake and flooded the boat. They had to ground the boat on an island, run it ashore to keep from sinking. I missed 2 hose clamps. Always happens. It's like the dirty dishes, there's always one more dish. 2 more hose clamps down here. This is the valve that goes through the hull. And I think this is the hose I'm going to take off first, and that'll leave room for the bucket right under that big valve. So if anything comes out of those hoses and I disconnect them, then maybe we'll catch it. All right. I expect this is reinforced with wire, so I will not be able to cut all the way through it. Hopefully I can get most of it. And then cut the wire with a pair of line cutters. Not ruin my tools. All right, that
Oh my god.
is pretty solid. Now this valve that goes out hasn't been working, and so we haven't been using the valve that would put anything into this basically since we got the boat. So my expectation is that's a lot of really old poo, and that's kind of what we expect to find in all these hoses.
Shockingly, it really doesn't stink.
No, it's just dried up at this point.
Thank God.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, that's nice. Nothing's coming out of that one. Oh, there it goes. Oh yeah.
It was too good to last.
That's tasty.
Oh God.
Oh, that's wonderful stuff.
This is eye-wateringly horrible. I just want to vomit. Yuck.
All right, and then we just keep cutting this out in sections, trying to minimize the amount of nastiness we have to deal with, which is not easy. Fortunately, this is a pretty dry spot in the hose, so it shouldn't be too bad, but down at the bottom of it, I know it isn't. Oh yeah, that's disgusting.
Okay, this is too gross. We have to try a different tactic. So we brought a hose in with a sprayer, and we're gonna try and spray the effluent back into the tank. No idea if this will work, but oh, it's so gross.
All right, so the first attempt at taking hose out worked perfectly. No problem, but God, is it nasty and messy. And so the thing that we know is that when you flush a toilet, it puts stuff in this hose, and it doesn't push it all the way back to the tank, which is a design problem for all of these. But you can't use an infinite amount of water because you fill up the tank and you drain your water tank, and that's another issue. So how many gallons of water per flush do you want to use, and how many more do you have to? But that means that you end up with a lot of stuff left in the hose. So I brought a hose with sprayer. We have a piece of hose that's higher than the tank here. And so I'm going to add water, clean water, to the hose and try and hose the hose out. Give it a good rinse so that when we're taking it out, maybe there's less nasty in it for us to deal with.
We cleared out what felt like endless lengths of wastewater hose leading back to the black tanks, and now we're sealing off the openings to detach all the connecting hoses. Naturally, no boat project is complete without someone getting down and dirty, and this time Shawn found himself in the bilge doing a bit of boat yoga. Additionally, we're swapping out 3 of the 4 toilets. The 4th one won't be reinstalled as we plan to repurpose that area. We'll show you more of that later when we get closer to it. Now, while we could simply replace the motors to align with the new electrical system, the cost difference is minimal, making it more practical to install brand new toilets instead. So fresh and shiny toilets it is. Have you ever felt that rush from pressure washing? This cleanup was almost that good. It felt fantastic to finish such a messy task, then just blast the bilges with the hose. What a relief.
All right, so we're gonna get started cleaning out our water heaters. So these tanks, we have 2 60-liter tanks, and they're stainless steel tanks with plastic cover. I don't think they've ever been cleaned out. And so we have a multi-step process. We're gonna use Barnacle Buster on one loop. So these are designed to have an electric element, and they have a loop that uses coolant from the engine. Occasionally you want to clean this stuff out. All right, so the way we do this, we use a bucket. It starts out as open circuit and then it goes closed circuit. We have a big sump pump in here, and we have a couple hoses. So this hose coming out of the pump is going to connect to the inlet side on the water heater for the engine coolant. I just tighten this guy up. And that's it. Okay, on the other side we do the same thing. This is the outside, and this one goes over the side of the boat to start with so we can see what comes out of this thing. I'm going to fill the bucket with water to start with and just run water through till the water's clear, and then I'll bring the outflow hose into the bucket and start adding Barnacle Buster to let it do its work.
Are you expecting this to be really gnarly?
I'm thinking it's going to be pretty nasty, yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's plug this thing in and see what we get.
Oh, nasty. It's already clear. Yeah, it was just that first little splut.
All right, that cleared up pretty quick. It was pretty nasty to start, just for a shot though, which is encouraging. So hopefully this will clean out really nicely. All right, this is Barnacle Buster Concentrate. All right, so we're just gonna let this run for about 5 minutes, and after that we should be done. Then we'll do a long rinse and get all the Barnacle Buster out and lots of fresh water through it, and then we'll get onto the inside and see how bad the actual heating chamber is for the water that we use.
What is that thing that you have?
This is a borescope, or I don't know, what do they call it in butts and guts?
Like an endoscope.
It's an endoscope.
Or a colonoscope.
See, there you go. So this little steerable colonoscope.
Oh, how cool. Do that
Right?
again.
We're going to the water heater to see how it looks inside. It's not a very big opening, but this way we can get a look inside and maybe see how bad it is in there. I'm trying to figure out which way is up.
All right, so we're gonna dump this over the side and see what comes out. Seriously? That's what was in our water heater? Ew.
How is it possible that it could be that disgusting, and yet when it comes out of our faucets, it's not like that?
Most of that settles on the bottom, and so it sits on the bottom, and the pickup tube is not on the bottom, and so we have a better shot at getting less of that coming out. But yeah, that just ew. Round 2. 3? Don't even know.
That's definitely better. So how's it looking? Better after a couple of rounds with the pressure washer enema?
Shiny.
Shiny.
Join us next time when we do a little time travel and take you to the Annapolis Boat Show. As you can imagine, with a refit this extensive, we have a lot of vendors to visit. Thanks for watching while we tackled some very dirty jobs. Thankfully, no smell-o-vision. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in seeing more of our refit, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell. We'll see you next time. Bye!